Good morning, everyone. We have a problem. And the problem is that although I was able to get inside of my car from the outside, I can now not get out. It is unlocked, but the handle does not work. And so today I'm gonna have to take apart my door and show you how to replace the cable inside to fix this broken door handle. Let's do it.
We're going to start with this pick tool that we will use to remove the small black panel that is on the car door. We're going to pop it off, which will reveal a small screw that we can very easily remove. And then, after removing this screw, we'll use the exact same pick tool to remove another small black panel that is behind the handle. Now, with that black panel removed, two screws are revealed that we will once again remove with a screwdriver. This is a very easy task and will loosen up this panel to then use this orange plastic panel remover to pop the entire panel off of the door. As you see, I am working around the door, just pushing and then popping. Now, I also need to remove a small triangle piece from the corner of the door. You want to unplug it and pull it out of the door. Then you can lift up to remove the entire panel. However, we did have to start the car so we could roll the window down. That allows us to look down and really get a better angle on what is happening with the door handle.
That's what we're trying to fix, guys.
So with a little bit of maneuvering, you are able to pop out the door handle from the car door panel. It did take a little bit of pushing and prying, but eventually we got it out and detached. Then we had several plugs to remove. This white one had a small lever we had to push, same as this gray one. A small lever, we used the pick tool and just kind of popped it open and then pulled it out. It may take some patience, but it is definitely doable. Now this light popped out very easily, but it had a bracket holding it in, and at first we were not sure what to do with the bracket. But after some attempts, we finally realized we just had to kind of jerk it. With one quick tug, we popped it out. That was the entire panel detached from the door. Now we went on to popping off the small black pin with the orange plastic panel remover. Once you got underneath it, it's a very easy pop, and it kind of flew away. Next, we removed the plastic film by using a razor blade to cut and scrape on the adhesive glue. We had to be careful because we could not cut the plastic film. We used an impact driver with a JIS number 3 drill bit in order to remove 3 screws that were holding in the latch. Then we used that pick tool that we used before to pop out this small socket piece with some wires attached to it. Then we realized that we had to reattach the panel to roll up the window. That allows better access to the inside of the door. We then once again removed the panel, turned off the car, and got to work on trying to take out the whole latch apparatus. This was a very difficult process. We used the pick tool first to try to disconnect it on the inside. Then we realized there was another screw we needed to remove. Also a bolt that we used a ratchet to take off. We still were not able to completely remove the latch apparatus. We started using a flashlight to see what was happening, but it was all very tight and difficult to move. Eventually, we got one metal piece that was very key, and that started loosening up the entire array. However, we were still not sure how to completely pull out the whole latch until finally we popped it off and were able to take the entire door handle from out of the inside of the car door. Then we popped off the small brackets that are holding it in place, and this wire, as you see, is connecting it from the interior handle to the latch. So we had to pop off a couple brackets and make sure the entire system was removed from the door. After a little bit of patience and multiple tries, we were able to remove even the most stubborn bracket. Now we could get to work on the actual problem, which was the torn cable. So first we had to pinch, and this took 2 people, but we pinched the brackets and were able to pop out the wire from the door handle material. This was a very difficult process that took multiple tries because it's a very tight fit. But eventually we got the cable detached from the door handle. Then we went to the other end of the cable where the latch was, and we had to take out several tiny screws so that we could then pop off the entire white plastic piece from the latch. We had to be very careful to not break this plastic, but once we used our pick tool, we were able to pop it off and reveal the interior mechanics of the latch. Again, we had to be very careful to not break any of the plastic. Then we popped off the cable and removed the old broken cable. Thankfully, the cable we had ordered was exactly the same, And so we placed it in. At this point, we had a slight hiccup because it was very difficult to put it back in. But after a lot of trying, we were able to make it snap back into the same spot where the old one used to be. Everything fit back in perfectly, so we closed up the latch, snapped it back together, and moved back to the handle side. Here, we used our pick tool to really fit everything together. This took 2 people once again to make sure that that tight fit was achieved. There were multiple small pieces that we had to lock into place. They all kind of fit together in different ways to make it a very secure, snug fit. And then it took multiple tries without getting too frustrated to try to put everything back together. It took some patience, but we were able to pop everything back into place and reassemble it how it used to be. Once we got it all locked in, we were ready to reattach it to the car door. We snapped the brackets back into place and then slid the latch back inside the car door. And we had to try to fit it back into the position where it used to be. This was a tight fit, but we were able to make it happen. And as you see, we now have both cables unbroken, running from latch to handle. We then reapplied the adhesive because we had not ripped out the film, and so it was all perfectly back together. The last step was to put on the panel. So we rolled the window down again, we put the panel on, we fit the car door handle back into the panel, and made sure everything snapped into place quite securely. Then, with just a few manual bangs with a hand, we will just pop the whole panel back onto the door. This was kind of a forceful, not too delicate process. We simply smacked it. Testing time. Got the outside handle. That works. We get inside the car. Close it. And now, here's the inside handle. And it works. Woo! Thanks for watching Buff Nerd and Dad. We're glad we finished this project. Wait for the next one.